Here we are, day number 2, Transformation Week. I'm so excited to have you all here to really kick off this next 12 months of your life with incredible excitement and enthusiasm and optimism, that confidence and that performance edge that will really help you make this next year of your life the best year of your life. Who's game for that today? Let me hear in the comments where you're tuning in from. Let me hear some shout outs in the chat. I just want to celebrate each and every one of you for doing the work today. Transformation Week Day 2 is all about your mindset. We're going to dive deep into what stops people from living and experiencing an extraordinary quality of life. Not just kind of like getting through the days, because you've been already through that, right? With those days where you're just kind of like going through or just barely surviving, kind of scratching it, just trying to feel the day or feel some vibrancy. Those days where you get down on yourself or your own thoughts get in a loop that end up hurting you versus lifting you up and enabling you to continue marching on, even when it's hard. So these topics of mindset today, we'll be talking about motivation and where that comes from. We'll talk about the thoughts that do stop each and every one of us, no matter who you are, how successful you already are. These are like next level mindset tricks that we have to learn to deploy in the moment, at least as a crutch for the moment, to get us over something, or get us moving. But we'll also talk about long-term thinking and exactly how you can break down your thought process, your self-reflection process to develop that growth mindset, to get stronger, to grow. So I'm really excited to be here with you today. I appreciate you doing the work. If you missed yesterday, let me catch you up real fast because I know some of us had tech issues for sure, mine. So let me catch you up on where we went yesterday so that we can catch you up today. Let's see. Can you see my slides okay? Raise your hand. Give me a shout. Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so let me cover where we went yesterday with you here in Growth Day. I said that our goal in Transformation Week is to help you make self-improvement a way of life. And yesterday, we spent some time covering what is it that you really want for these next 12 months. And I shared that the reality is most of us all want the same things. I shared the 4 desires plus the 4 frames that keep us from achieving them or empower us to achieve them. So let me give you a 30-second overview, then we'll jump into today's training. So if you saw yesterday already, be patient with me, hang out. I covered how all human beings have primary aspirations, and there's 4 of them. And these are our primary aspirations once we get past safety and sustenance. You know, when we have physical safety and we have some food, you know, or a roof over our head, what we really desire are these 4 aspirations. We want a greater sense of aliveness. That might mean presence, consciousness, awareness, vibrancy, passion, enthusiasm. Lots of people use different words. Even freedom, right? That sense of aliveness and freedom in the moment. We all want more of that. Some people call it adventure. Some people call it just the spice of life or joie de vivre. Whatever it is, we want a sense of aliveness. I'm going to tell you this. If you want to set one primary goal for this year, and you have not yet done it, learning how to feel more alive. For some of you, that's health. Some of you, that's mental health. Some of you, that's physical or mental. Some of you, that's spiritual. Some of you, that's just like a consciousness in the moment or a mindfulness. When you tap into a sense of presence and aliveness in the moment, and you can do that on demand, on command, over and over and over again, life feels differently. The second aspiration we talked about was deep connections. That means your relationships. We all want a deeper connection and relationship with ourselves, with the moment, but most importantly, we're social animals, having that deep relationship, right? It's time this year, repair your relationships. It's time this year, deepen those relationships. It's time this year, heal from those relationships. Can I get an amen on a weekday? I mean, it's like we gotta heal. We gotta move on. We gotta deepen those relationships. Find that love or deepen that love. At the end of our lives, it's the relationships that matter so much to us. And we know from research that the deeper relationships you have, that sense of connection with others, the deeper that is, the more meaningful that is, the longer we live. Third, meaningful pursuits. That 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 sense each day that we have something to do that matters, that brings us a sense of fulfillment or satisfaction or meaning in our lives. Some people call this purpose. Some people call this mission. Some people call this, just a passion or an obsession. Some people just call this, contributing. Some people get this through creating. Some people get this through service. But I'm here to tell you the important phrase here is meaningful pursuits. You have to pursue something, right? Because lots of people have meaningful lives, but they're not actively pursuing anything. And when you're not actively pursuing anything, that's when discouragement or depression can really set in. Now, growth is in the middle. That's why we're all here. That's why I'm celebrating you, doing the work, having that drive to get better, to become more, to be a better leader, a parent, servant, role model. It's so powerful when we realize how big this impulse is to grow. And that's why I honor you for being here. We talked about that. I also shared this little frame around that diagram. This little frame that says, hey, the reason some people experience this and get to feel it and get to enjoy aliveness and connection, pursuit, growth is because, first, that's their ambition. That's what they want. Second, they have personal agency. What we talked about, that concept of autonomy or assertiveness in which we're the captain of our fate. We step into that personal responsibility ownership mode, meaning we are responsible for our aliveness, connection, meaningful pursuits. I talked about the importance of an environment. Our environments shape us. And when we're young, we don't get to choose those. As mature adults, we get to start architecting it and shaping it and creating our friendships, our connections, our network in more purposeful and positive manners. And of course, I talk about education, right? It's about our own journey in self-education where we teach ourselves the curriculum of life. That's the work you're doing here. An empowered education, not just ones from schools or systems or universities, but one in which we design our education and our empowerment based on what we want to achieve and feel and experience in life. That's what we talked about yesterday. Today, we're going to jump into mindset mastery, and we're going to talk about the power of journaling. And trust me, if you're one of those people who go, I don't journal, Brendan, I'm like, no. That's just like saying, I haven't learned to enjoy life yet. Because people who journal have less stress, higher mindfulness, they're more productive, they are healthier, they tend to be more positive in their relationships, their marriages last longer, they're rated better parents. What else do you need to know? So journaling and developing a journaling practice, it will not only make you happier and less stressed, it will make you better in your relationships. So we'll talk about some ways that you can do that. Use Growth Day for your journaling prompts if you don't do it yet, because if you're not becoming more self-aware over time, you're not becoming more mature or empowered or positive. So I think it's really important that you do that. But let's start with the mindset conversation today, ladies and gentlemen. I want to share with you, before I get back into the fancy slides, I'm going to go old school with y'all. I'm going to pop this up right here into a couple quote cards. I can't see it in the background. That's like a cool move. Look at that. I don't know if you can't quite see the card. Oh my God. Okay, cool. I learned a new trick. Blow out the background and no one can see. It's like a green screen move. Wow. Okay, sorry. It's kind of fun for me. All right. So when you've been doing this as long as I have, any new thing you see on camera is like, ooh, look at that. It's like a toy. Merry Christmas. Okay. So I've got, what do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4 cards. They're going to help you understand exactly, and I mean exactly, why your mindset has supported you or not throughout your lives. Because it turns out that, quote unquote, successful people do think very differently than unsuccessful people. Now, if you've trained with me for a while, you know I don't like the languaging of that. Right? I don't like the languaging is like labeling a person successful or unsuccessful. So maybe in more accurate terms of how we talk about it in Growth Day, is that we have successful thinking patterns and unsuccessful thinking patterns that are tied to the outcomes of our life, right? And I think the predominant one I want to share with you today, and I'll get into the exact specifics of the cards, but I really like you to capture this one phrase in your notes here or in the comment section in Growth Day. I want you to make sure you capture this. And that is one of the primary differences between successful thinking and unsuccessful thinking is that if we label it again to successful people have doubts, but they don't stop. And this is an overarching mindset that has either supported you throughout your life or it has not. I'll break it down with more specificity here in a second. But let me share with you, that is a dominant frame of mindset in our lives, right? When you want to do something and you feel these doubts or these fears or these emotions that are, uncomfortable, make you feel insecure or uncertain, and you take that as a reason to stop your progress, that explains a lot about life. And I'm going to share with you 4 specific statements we actually say. These are what the mind is set upon, these 4 specific statements, mindset, that stops people. And then I'm going to give you a very empowering tool, what I call the interpretation ladder or a meaning ladder, so that from now on, any situations you're in, you can be more conscious in how you're developing your thought patterns and developing your mindset, and it will transform your life. Learning just these 4 simple things that are already stopping you, and then learning this tool to better self-reflect or aim yourself, can change your life. Big promise. Who's here for it today, ladies and gentlemen? I'm excited to see you. I'm grateful for you being in Growth Day. Let's do the work. Let's talk about where people stop in their mindset, these specific phrases we say to ourselves, okay? This first one is the one I would say is the most common phrase that poisons our progress. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how to ... And again, what's the difference? Well, when unsuccessful thought patterns say, I don't know how to ... and they stop, they kill their progress. Let me give you an example. I'll some stories from my own life that transformed my life. When I began in this industry, I had this ambition and this goal and this dream. I wanted to be a writer. And I mean, a full-time writer who wrote books, not articles. I want to become a book author. And of course, my mind immediately says, well, I don't know how to write. I don't know how to publish a book. I don't know how to get an agent. I don't know how to promote a book. I don't know how the business, the industry of publishing works. I don't know how to pick a title. I don't know how to form chapters. One of the books I wanted to write was fiction. I don't know how to write fiction. I don't know how to write dialogue. I don't know how to develop characters. Right? As soon as you have a dream, your brain starts going, but I don't know how. And this is the critical difference maker in your life. You can go back through every single epoch of your life. What I mean by that is a mini era, right? What I mean by that is another language, say your decades of existence. 0 to 10 years old, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, as an example. And you can look back and you can reflect and you can journal on where did you have a goal, a dream, a purpose, a desire, and where did this mindset kill your progress? Because it existed for every person. This is no judgment. We all face this, right? There's some part of all of us who we just know we're not yet competent. Not yet competent. And you stopped. Well, I don't know how, so I'm going to stop. And I'm here to tell you, if you want to be more successful, you want to transform your life, when you hear yourself say, I don't know how to, you never let your mind ever again disempower you and say, well, guess that's just how it is. Instead, success and growth requires you to say, I don't know how to do that. So it is my job to learn that. It switches you from disempowered to a skill builder. It switches you from a fixed mindset, I don't know how, I only have these capabilities, into a growth mindset. I will learn. I can expand. I can change. I can get better. That's the critical moment of transformation. It's the critical moment when you either leap into a fixed mindset, I guess I don't know how, why even try? Or you say, I can learn that. I can figure that out. Let me get going. I'll share you another example. When my first book came out, it didn't do as good as I wanted it to. My mass market first book was called Life's Golden Ticket. And it did pretty good in its first 2 weeks. And then it stopped selling. And I couldn't figure it out. Well, it's because I kind of stopped talking about it and promoting it. But I also wasn't a good communicator. And the truth is, I had to learn how to talk. I had to learn how to, first and foremost, do it on video, like we're doing here. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to learn how to do video. I don't know how to do video. I guess I'll have to learn. It seems like video seems to be required to promoting something today. I'd better learn how to do video. I went down to the local store and I bought a little flip video camera, which I was really actually above my pay grade at the time. If those who might remember, flip video cameras, little box like your phone back in the day, but it had one red button. That's all it did. And I had to duct tape it to a bunch of boxes, and I had to hit record, and I had to point IKEA lamps in my little apartment at myself to light it and start talking to the little camera. I had to teach myself. Well, that was 500 million video views ago. That was 28 online courses ago. That was 100 million podcast downloads ago. And if I hadn't said, I guess I'll have to learn how to do this, if I didn't believe I could learn, where would we be today? We certainly wouldn't be doing this together. And so I just want to share that with you. It's so critical. It literally is a transformational mindset. The second that you say, I don't know how to do that, you either quit or you accept and take what's called personal agency, autonomy, and say, okay, I'm the captain of the ship. This is where I want to go. There's some new skills required here. I don't know how to do it. I guess I better figure it out. And today, please, ladies and gentlemen, you and I both know, if you want to learn how to do anything, you can learn how to do anything. It's on the internets. If you can't figure out on the internets, ask the AI. I mean, come on, this is not hard. To figure out how to do something in the modern era is so simple, it's like unfair. You want to learn another language? There's apps that make it easy. You want to learn how to play music? There's apps that make it. There's almost nothing you could want to learn how to do that you could not develop significant skill sets in. I mean, like massive leaps and bounds of skill sets in within a year. I mean, massive, major leaps in skill set. And so whatever your dream is, this is your activity right now. And maybe you'll even capture in the chat or the comments for everybody here. If you have a major dream, what are the 3 major things you must learn to achieve that dream? If you had a bucket into 3 major things, for every dream you have, for every major goal, what are the 3 major things that you have to learn? Let me give you an example. With my book writing, I said, okay, to write a book, the 3 major things that I'm going to have to learn, that I just have to learn, is number 1, I'm going to have to learn how to self-publish a book. Number 2, I'm going to have to learn how to build a website to promote the book. Number 3, I'm going to have to learn online marketing to promote the website and the book. There it was. There it was. 6 best-selling books later. Still the best-selling books on motivation and on habits. And I can share with you with Motivation Manifesto and High Performance Habits, both those I also had to break down. Okay, I'm going to write a defining book on motivation. What am I going to have to do? What 3 skill sets will I have to learn? Bum, bum, bum. Every goal, whatever your goal is, you want to build a big company? What are the 3 major things you're going to have to learn? Okay, how to form company, how to structure team, how to make sales. Bam, let's go. This is about education. You got to build your own curriculum. So please, what's your dream? What are the 3 major things? Capture that right now. This is transformation work. We're actually doing this as a workshop. We're doing the work. Don't be passive. Do the work. Capture in your notes and growth day or in the comments section. Capture it for yourself. So important. What are the 3 major skills you're going to have to learn? And then the job is this. You need to make sure that you project manage that, right? I use Growth Day. I go into the plan section. I capture that. Okay, I got to learn how to self-publish a book. Great. Put it in here. Put deadlines and tasks to it. Cool. Great. I think it's important that you have to realize whatever these skills are you need to develop, you can't say, I hope to develop them. You need to create a plan for yourself. When you're learning that, 1 hour a week, 2 hours a week, 5 hours a week, how much time are you going to dedicate to that actual learning? And where does that live in your calendar? So what's the dream? What do you need to learn? Where does it live in the calendar? I know that's 101 for many people, but that is a transformational process. That's how it begins. So again, this first one, I just got to say it again. This stops so many people. I don't know how to, and they stop. Your job is to say, I don't know how to, got it. That's my job. I got to go learn that. I got to go develop competency, knowledge, skill, ability, talent, proficiency in that area. Let's go. That is so empowering. That is the growth mindset. That is what transforms your life. Okay. And again, if you want to diagnose, if there's any area of your life, I know this might be too heavy for some people, at the beginning of a transformation week for sure. But if you want to diagnose where you're unhappy in your life, where you failed in life, where you're frustrated in life, I bet this mindset is kicking your butt. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to improve my relationship. I don't know how to lose weight. I don't know how to get healthy. I don't know how to start a business. I don't know how to, and you stop. And you get on the merry-go-round of doubt, and you just stop. Almost every area of life where we say, I'm stuck, is where we went into the fixed mindset of saying, actually, I don't believe I can learn and figure it out. We lost what we teach in Growth Day is that competence-confidence loop. The idea that we develop more confidence and competence together at the same time. You learn more, you develop a little more confidence, right? Psychologists call it self-efficacy. It's this idea that if I get better at something, I get a little more confident in it. As I get a little more confident in that, my overall confidence starts to grow too. So I try new things. As I try new things, more competency, more confidence. It's a loop. And so I think it's really important that you understand this is an issue of confidence in your ability to figure things out. That's what the opposite of this is. I don't know how to transforms into, I believe in my ability to figure things out. Let me get clear about what I need to learn. Let me project management. Let me go. Change your life forever. Okay, where else do people get? You guys like this stuff? What's coming to your mind? Capture it. Share your ahas. Let's do the work. This is Social Learning and Transformation Week. I want to hear what you're learning. Next up, a related statement, but unique, is that we say this. I don't have ... Yeah, I want that dream, but I don't have a website. People say that to me all the time. Yeah, I want to do it, but I don't have a website. I'm like, yes. You think some of us were born with the website? You got to go build it. I don't have money. Yes. Do you think all rich people started with money? Oh, well, I don't have access to this person or that person. I don't have fame. I don't have likes. I don't have resources. I don't have a list. I don't have, I mean, just go down the line. I don't have this, 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 and this. And related, either we say, I don't have that, so I guess I'll stop. Like I said at the very beginning, I said, I don't have any money. I can't possibly become successful as a book author because I can't afford to print a book. And that was real. Notice, I'm not saying your doubts or your concerns aren't real. I didn't have money. I don't have money. But my mind jumped to the conclusion that not having this resource meant I couldn't make progress towards my dream. Raise your hand if you follow that one. Yeah. My mind jumped from I don't have resources to I can't make progress. So I stopped. And there was a serious, significant months I didn't write. Then when I started my life coaching business, which I was going to put myself out as a high performance coach, I was like, well, I don't have a network. And, I don't have this, I don't have that. And again, those might be true. And so what's the opposite? You say, well, yeah, I don't have it. So it's my job to go build it, to go acquire it, to go move towards it, to get it. Just like if I don't know how to do that, it's my job to learn it. If I don't have it, it's my job to build it, manifest it, get it, create it. And that's so important. Well, Brendan, yeah, you didn't have the money to self-publish a book. So what are you going to do? I'm like, well, I put up a PDF on the internet and I charged $7 for that. It was like a 10-page article. I charged $7 for it. Started making some money and saving a little bit of money so that one day I could print my book. So that means whatever you don't have, there's still stepping stones to achieving the goal, isn't it? So here's my question. When you think about a big goal, what are 3 stepping stones that could get you there? Maybe you don't have the answer, you don't have the thing, but what's 3 stepping stones that could get you there? Well, I don't have a website, Brendan. I can't start. Okay, what are 3 stepping stones to getting there? Right? Well, I don't have a website. I guess I need to learn how to build one. Great. Okay, what's step 1? Well, let me just design it on paper. That's a stepping stone. Let me just design what I want. Okay, great. Let me learn how to use a free tool like a WordPress or a free trial into a Kajabi or a Squarespace or a Wix or whatever. Okay, cool. I've designed it. I've learned how to use a template for it. Okay, cool. And you see, it's just like stepping stones. What's the stepping stones to your dream? I always tell people, a lot of people have a goal, and I say, but there isn't one action that usually gets us to a goal, is there? There's usually stepping stones, another language for people, milestones, project planners, deliverables, KPI. There's these little key results that lead to the manifestation of the goal, right? So what are those for you? If you had to capture like 3 stepping stones or 3 actions or 3 milestones or 3 to-dos that would be, a major activity that would help you get towards that goal, that's our job whenever we hear, I don't have. I often tell people, when they say, I don't have X, I say, great, turn that into, I'm going to build a plan to, I don't have a website. I'm going to build a plan to build a website. I don't have a network of successful people that can open doors for me. I'm going to build a plan to start networking with people, right? Build the plan, go execute stepping stones towards your dreams. Trust me, this one is such an easy excuse. It's so easy. I don't have the money. Well, what if we all said that at some point in our lives? I don't have the money. And we just sat on our couch because we didn't have the money. That's not going to change the situation. And that's why this is so easy. Because remember, this is true. I didn't have money. I didn't have a positive network. I didn't have knowledge, skills, and abilities. But that's the growth. That's the challenge. We take personal autonomy of that and we say, okay, that's the job. Let me go do it. Okay, next up. I love this one. This one is also very convenient. When we say in our mindset, well, I'm not like them. You know, sure, she can do it. Look at her with her little booty on Instagram. Of course, she can make success happen on the internet. Oh, look at him. Yeah. Look at all the, yeah. Look at everything. He's already got everything. You know, he was born with a silver spoon. I'm not like those rich people. And we start saying, I'm not like them. And we use that as an excuse to stop. You know, I'm not like that person, so why even try? You want to be an action star? And you go, well, I'm not like The Rock. You know, I'm not built like him. I guess I'll stop. But that's the mentality. I know that's just a simple metaphor, but that's what we do. We go, I'm not like them. You know, well, I'm not like that podcaster, so how could I interview people? You know, I'm no Oprah. That's what people literally say. They literally say this stupid stuff in their mind, and they don't understand how that thought pattern is leading to a mindset that is disempowered. It's not about being like them. It's learn some of the strategies and practices and milestones that they followed that allowed them to manifest a similar dream. It's about modeling a strategy, a plan, a map, a set of practices or habits, and finding your unique authenticity and aliveness in that process. You all follow so far? The job isn't to be like somebody. The job is to model strategy. And it switches your mindset immediately from that disempowered identity problem. Well, I'm not good enough, sufficient enough, worthy enough because I don't look like her. I don't talk like him. I'm not like them. To, you know what? There's probably some lessons learned. They probably followed a certain plan or something in their mindset, in their habits, in their relationships, in their network, in their work ethic that probably led to that. What was it? Let me break that down. Let me read some biographies on their thought process, their personal practices, their professional practices. Let me just see, is there anything useful there that now I can take as my own process and live alive, enthusiastic and alert in that process, not worrying about the outcome of becoming like them, worrying about the outcome of becoming my best and being on my path to live my life and achieve the things I desire. Y'all got it so far? It's changing. Imagine at the time, as I was writing, I was becoming a life coach, and I started speaking on stages. Tiny stages, by the way, little rooms, embarrassingly small audiences. But the thing is, I was never embarrassed to be seen starting small. And that changed everything. It didn't bother me that I was talking to 2 or 3 or 5 people or a little Kiwanis or Rotary or Lions Club group or the local school or a local nonprofit. It didn't bother me when I started doing Zooms or live casts. I started doing live casts in 2008, I think, 2008, 2008. It didn't bother me that there was one person there. It didn't bother me that there were 5 people watching. It didn't bother me at all because I was in the act of becoming, not the act of trying to impress. And that's how you change your life. You stop worrying about, am I like them? And you go, am I becoming better? Am I like them or am I becoming better? I don't need to become like them. Imagine back when I started speaking, I'm talking like the heroes back in the day. It was like Les Brown up on stage. It was like a Wayne Dyer. It was like a Louise Hay or a Marianne Williamson. I'd watch them and I'm like, whoa, I can never do that. But I never tried to be them. The question was, how'd they learn to speak so good? How'd they get booked on a stage? What's their career like? What do they do? What's their business model? So stop trying to measure up to the people you look up to and start trying to become your best. trying to learn the knowledge, skills, and abilities. I'm telling you, so often what you are doing is you are dividing yourself. You are isolating yourself. You are harming yourself by thinking you have to be like them. Because of course, what happens is your brain goes, that's not congruent. I am not like them. And when I try to be like them, guess what? I feel like, I don't know, that's incongruent. I feel like I'm faking it till I make it. You know, I feel like I don't belong. I feel like a fake, a phony. And that's because you're trying to be like them versus model a strategy. Everyone follow this? What's that word I'm looking for? I bet you guys can put it in the chat for me. There's that word I'm looking for where you feel like a fake. You feel like you don't fit in. You feel like it's not real. You feel like you're thank you. Yvonne, yeah, you guys got it. Poser, imposter syndrome, all these things. It's like, well, imposter is an identity, isn't it? I am doing these things with these other people, and I'm not like them. I'm an imposter. I'm posing. I'm faking it to fit in here. That's because you're trying to be like them. You're trying to measure up to them versus stepping into your authentic truth and following your plan and becoming more along the way and being okay with the fact that you're a hot mess. You feel like you're an imposter because you think they're perfect and they got it figured out. I don't fit in with these perfect people. I don't fit in with these. I'm actively coaching 4 billionaires on high performance right now. Now imagine how easy it would be for me to feel like an imposter because I'm not like them. I don't have that kind of bank account. They all got way more employees than me, more reach. They're on covers of magazines. And I mean, they're extraordinary human beings. There's no part of me that goes, well, I'm not like them. Why? Well, if you really want a masterclass in this, watch Transformation Week Day 1. Because I know they want the same things I want. Aliveness, deeper connection, meaningful pursuits, growth. I actually feel a sense of oneness with everybody. I've never felt like an imposter in my life because I'm like, we're all the same. Once I understood the idea of a unity consciousness or the idea of oneness or the idea that we're not all separate, that we're actually a human species, I was like, oh, we're actually all really similar. Like wildly similar. It's so incredible how both by biology and by life aspiration, we are so unbelievably similar. And so I never felt like an imposter. I'm like, we're a bunch of humans here. That's all. You know, my dad was very blue collar and he had that old statement of, you know, we all put on our pants. You know, I know not everyone puts on pants, Lululemon, but you know, I'm just saying what happens is it's like we have this idea that everyone's so different. I'm like, we're all kind of the same. I've been with rich people and poor people. I've been rich. I've been poor. You know, I've been healthy. I've been unhealthy. I've been in a hospital bed 2 times in my life where I thought I was going to die and was close to it. And I've been incredibly healthy. I've been in, you know, most major countries around the world as I've traveled with all different types of cultures and religions and backgrounds and faiths. And turns out we're all probably going to eat lunch. Ah, wow, you're hungry too? I'm hungry too. Let's have some lunch. Now, I know I'm being a little facetious here, but your mindset of separating yourself from others and your mindset that says they're better than you, they're more perfect, they got it all figured out. You'd be embarrassed if they found out that you were a hot mess, that you messed up. This is the stuff of identity that kills our progress in life. But once you realize we're all kind of the same. I mean, look about like the number of people showing up for something like this on a day like this, doing this work, right? It's unbelievable. I mean, you ever come to my events and you're like, wow, there's people from 50 or 60 countries at our events. Like, they're all walks of life from all over the place. What's uniting us? We all want to get better. We all want to grow. It's a beautiful thing. Please, you got to get a hold of this one. I'm not like them is murderous to our progress. And let me just say this, if this hasn't resonated with you yet, your job isn't to be like them. That's not the job. The job is to become more of your truest, highest, best self, is what Oprah Winfrey would tell you. That's the job. That's the purpose. Becoming more of your truest, highest, best self, right? It's that sense of like, okay, you know what? I'm intentional today. I'm trying to be my best. I might not always get it right, but that's why there's tomorrow, and I'll try again. And instead of trying to become like them, maybe you can follow a similar path or a similar strategy, a similar set of practices. But I'm here to tell you, almost everyone you look up to, including myself, is a hot mess behind the scenes in some area of their life. And you see it all the time. The successful person gets divorced. The successful person goes bankrupt. The successful person takes their life. And you go, what's going on here? Everyone's got a story. And everyone's carrying on a lot more. You don't need to have hero worship or guru worship. You don't need to get behind the scenes and open up the curtains to finally see Oz, to finally realize at this maturity of your life that everyone struggles and suffers and has challenges. But they also have similar aspirations for aliveness and connection and meaning and growth. So I'm here to share with you, stop trying to measure up to who you think they are and start living the best of who you are. That mindset shifts everything. I've always known I'll find my own way. I'll find my own path in this industry. And in this industry, I'm very unique. I'm very different because I didn't try to be like them. Imagine how silly it would be if I tried to be like any of them, right? If I tried to be like, Wayne Dyer and weave these amazing stories and use all my hand gestures like this as I'm telling you stories. And I walked slowly and methodically and talked about spirit. Or I try to be like Tony, it's like, come on, people. You got to find your own way and enjoy it and allow yourself to find that joy and freedom of authenticity. Dork out, be you. Okay, last big idea that totally kills us. And then we'll go into a thinking tool. And by the way, I forgot to do this. Since we're talking about I'm not like them, capture here in your journal or your notes or the comments, what are three words that define the best of who you are? Or 3 words that describe who you want to be the next 12 months? Right? Who you want to be the next 12 months. So, for example, I'll give you mine, but I want you to capture yours real fast. 3 words, best of who you are, or who you want to be the next 12 months. Just capture like 3 words, because it's not about being like them. It's like you. For you, what would make you feel happy or alive or spirited if you were like these? Maybe these 3 words would go on, a description of you in a major article or magazine, or maybe on your tombstone. Or maybe these 3 words would just be nice intentional words to remind yourself of. By the way, you could also set these up as reminders in Growth Day. If you didn't know, you go to the plan section, there's a reminder tool. You can literally set a reminder to remind yourself of a word throughout the day. Really cool. You can remind yourself of anything: meditate, drink water, work out, flirt with your wife or spouse or partner, whatever. You can set reminders in Growth Day if you didn't know, under the plan section. So 3 words, capture them. Would you also put them here? I'm seeing generous, decisive, focused, effective. This is great. Loving, caring, thoughtful, passionate, joyful, abundant. What else am I saying? If you would, if you don't mind, share it out. Abundant, unlimited, resourceful, sincere. What a beautiful word. Grateful, silly, creative, real, bold. Love it. Enthusiastic, determined, spiritual, authentic, consistent, one of a kind, excited, helpful, giving, beautiful, curious, compassionate, genuine, success. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, baby. I love these comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's what we're talking about. Live that, not them. All right. So mine for this next 12 months, which I'm really challenging myself on. Number 1, focused. And I mean like razor sharp focused. That's really important for me. Number two, enthusiastic. And I know you're already that, but I'm like, I got to work to it. I got to work for it just like you all do. I got to fire up my enthusiasm every single day. I got to motivate myself every single day. I got to do the work just like you do. Right? I want to make front of mind to be enthusiastic. It's so important to me, really important to me. And so I'm like, okay, I got to be really focused. And I would say, I love the word someone wrote there, bold. That's been my word for so many years. And so I'd almost say boldly focused, if I can use two words to describe it. It's like really just cut out a lot of things, be really decisive in that focus. Enthusiastic. I love that feeling of excitement, enthusiasm. It's why I use the growth day mindset, morning mindset button. I know some of you guys like that it doesn't change. I'm like, exactly. Because it's about developing practice in that. So in growth day, there's a journal feature. You press morning mindset. And one of the questions is, something I can get excited about today is, something I can get excited about today is, I have to spur that for myself. And I'll show you that later. And the last piece for me is loving. Just deepening that sense of love and connection with those around me, I think is really important. All right. Last mindset conversation. We'll use the tool and we'll jump in. Last one today is this mindset problem. I'm the only one. I'm the only one who can do this at my business. I'm the only one in my family who can do this. I'm the only one in the industry doing this. Again, this is another mindset of separatedness. This isolates us. It divides us. It's like parents do this all the time. The mom says, well, I'm the only one who can feed the kids. Or I understand. We don't need all the comments about how bad dad sucks at cooking. I get it. Okay, I get it. But what we do is we think we're the only one capable of doing that task. And so we burn out doing everything. We don't ask for help. Because what happens is either two things happen. Either one, we've isolated from ourselves and failed throughout our lives to learn to ask for help. So we just got that mindset pattern, I'm the only one. Or maybe we never had a good environment. We didn't build an empowering structure in our family or our friendships or our team. And without the empowering structure or persons in there was no one to ask help for. So we became so autonomous, so high personal agency, that we don't lean on, rely on, or ask for help from anybody. And so we're carrying the load by ourselves up a grand mountain. And so often on that grand mountain by ourselves, we are starved for supplies, for help, for safety, for attention, for camaraderie. And I'm here to tell you that I'm the only one. As soon as we do that, you've boxed yourself in. If you're a business owner and you're the only one, you've boxed yourself in. You'll never scale at the level that you could. If you're in your community or your team and you really believe you're the only person, it's very disempowering over the long term because you won't empower others. Yeah, maybe you are. Maybe you're extraordinary. Maybe you are so amazing. But even LeBron James has a team, people. He ain't out there on the court by himself. He still understands he's got to have a team. You have to, right? You have to. It's so critical that you realize, wow, I got to build a support system here. I got to ask for help when I struggle. These things are really important. Really important. So where in your life do you need some help or delegation? Could you capture that? Where do you need help or to delegate? Maybe capture that here, because you won't go to the next level solely by yourself. You will plateau by yourself. Even if you're like, I'm just trying to go to this next level. I'm like, yeah, surely you might be able to get there even by yourself because maybe you have extraordinary competency or skill or talent. And then you will ultimately hit a ceiling of your own competence, your own capability, your own time. And at some point, it's also less fun. Being on a journey with others is so much more fun, so much more engaging. That's why we're all here doing this work together. Why? Because as we grow together, it's what I say in Growth Day and Daily Fire all the time, right? I'm so happy we did this personal growth work today together. Otherwise, I'm just sitting over this little desk by myself at night or early in the morning in the dark, recording a Daily Fire into this microphone. Or I connect with the fact that we're doing this together. We're on this journey together. That's why I built a bigger team ultimately. It's why I ask for help. And even if you don't believe that other people can do it as well as you, even if you don't like other people, I'm an introvert, Brennan, you don't understand. Now, the next question is, are you going to be a leader in your life? Are you only ever going to empower yourself? Or are you going to empower other people too? Because when you say I'm the only one, it puts you in a mode where you don't even think of empowering other people. You only focus on your own actions in life. And it can quickly lead not only to separateness, it can lead to selfishness. And so start thinking about the fact that you got a team in life. If you got a family, they're your team. And do teams need to be trained? Yes. Do teams need to improve? Yes. It's just part of it. Even in Growth Day now, we have a teams offer. We have an enterprise offer. So we've got companies that not hire us, but buy the software, buy Growth Day for their employees to make them better, more motivated, focused, confident, productive, influential, impactful, give them that performance edge back again. So if you're a big team leader, let us know, reply to any of our emails if you want Growth Day for your team, because we have discounts for scale. I think it's important that you realize you're not alone. Everyone around you is on a growth journey. Empower that, connect with that, be part of that. It makes it so much more fun. So what is something you need to delegate or something you need help with? Make sure you capture that in your notes or in the chat or the comments here too. I think it'll be supportive for everybody to hear some of these things. It's brave to ask for help. And the next level for you requires a little more courage, doesn't it? Okay. With that, I'd like to share a thinking tool with you and encourage you, if any of this is resonating, make sure you're taking notes in the Growth Day app or using the journal feature as well. But I want to share with you a thinking tool that I think will really support you in your journaling. Okay, so first, maybe I'll do this. Let me first show you how I would journal and where I would journal, if you don't mind. And then what I want to do is show you how I break down each day when I have a major event that's frustrating to me. I think this might be pretty cool for you guys. Okay, so let me share my screen with you all. I might have to ask in a second if you can see my screen. I'm terrible at that part. Okay, so here I am in Growth Day. Well, you guys are watching Growth Day, most likely. So here we are in Growth Day. And y'all see my screen? Raise your hand. Okay, cool. I'm going to go over the journal feature. So on the left-hand navigation on your browser, if you're on your phone right now, it's in the bottom navigation for the journal. And I'm just going to click into the general journal. And you'll see here that here's how I do it to keep developing my mindset each day. My favorite thing in the journal, hands down, is this morning mindset button. When I press this button, it pops open these prompts for me. Like I said earlier, one thing I can get excited about today is, and I can just type that in, teaching transformation week. Okay, it can be as simple as that, right? It can be one line, but I do it every day. If one word could describe the kind of person I want to be today is, so you see how some of what I've been teaching comes into play? Another question I love to ask is, someone who needs me on my A game today is, because it gets me out of separateness and thinks about others. A situation that might stress me out or trip me up could be this. And the way my best self would deal with that is, I love this one, someone I could surprise with a note, gift, or sign of appreciation is, one action I could take today to demonstrate excellence, one thing I could do to get outside my comfort zone. All these things I fill out every day. Again, you just go to your journal and you press the morning mindset button. For the journalers here, often notice you can also press the evening review. Oh, I got a point for that. That's cool. It's saying I'm going to lose that. Yes, continue. Okay. When I press evening review, it gives me a different set of questions. A moment that I really appreciated today was, So we're giving you the prompts to journal on. Every single day you can come in, press morning mindset, evening review. If you want random ones, just press growth prompts and it randomly generates questions for you. If it's the end of the week, there's your weekly review and the monthly review. Why am I showing you this? Because to develop a mindset, you must start a journaling practice this year. Notice mindset, not random thoughts once in a while. A mindset is formed by your thought patterns. Conscious or mature thought patterns are developed by self-reflection. As we self-reflect, we learn our real feelings, our real thoughts, our real identity. And that needs to be a practice. See, I bet, how many of you know someone who's 50 and they still think and act like they're 20 and not in a positive way? You're like, how is this person not grown in any way? It's almost like stunning, right? And it's not because life hasn't been educating them. It's because they haven't been capturing the lessons. Raise your hand to follow that. A lot of people, life has been educating them, but they haven't been capturing and integrating the lessons. They haven't captured it and self-reflected through journaling or through meditation or prayer or through coaching or therapy. Forgive me, I'll adjust my camera here. So what happens? Well, they just keep getting back in that place over and over and over again. Every opportunity to learn, they didn't learn. So please use your journal consistently. Even if, if you press clear prompts, even just facing the blank journal, capturing what did you appreciate about the day? What did you learn about the day? What did you experience about the day? What did you feel about the day? What did you intend for the day? What did you drive for the day? Anything, please practice it. Like if there's any personal development tool that every therapist, psychologist, life coach, business consultant will teach you, it will always come back to making sure you are capturing lessons of life. I don't know anyone with any level of maturity in personal development research who does not suggest actively in their first 5 steps for anyone to transform their life than journaling. They never leave it out. There's a reason. The research is so clear. You've got to start journaling. I highly encourage you to use Growth Day. You can upload pictures. You can, capture lots of different thoughts in the morning or the evening, the end of the week or the end of the month. Make sure that you do that. Now, let me give you my favorite thinking tool that I'll often use when I'm journaling. And I think you'll really love this. If you haven't heard me teach this before, I hope that your mind's about to be blown. Okay, I'm going to teach you the meaning ladder or the interpretation ladder. This will explain for you your whole life. Okay, I think you're going to really like this. Sorry, I'm adjusting my camera again. Okay, one second. I think you're going to really like this. Okay. No, thank you. Now I can see. Okay, so as I go through this, I really want you maybe to get targeted about something that has recently happened in your life. Let's even take the last 12 months. Was there one major incident, circumstance, frustration, challenge, just a situation that comes to mind? It could be good or it could be not good. And I want to share with you how to process any events of your life. And this is what I'll often do when I'm journaling. I'll use this meaning ladder or interpretation ladder. Most of my journaling, to be totally honest, like totally transparent, most of my journaling is the Growth Day prompts. I would say 9 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 days, I usually prompt. I love the morning mindset or the evening review. Just depends when I get to journaling that day. Mostly it's in the morning. And then the weekly review is huge for me. I love to look back at the week. So I use Growth Day for most of that. But in the day, if something is frustrating to me and I'm struggling to work through it, this is how I'd work through it. And if I was coaching you, I'd follow the same process. So for the coaches out there or the dorks in psychology, I think you'll enjoy this. So make sure you capture the notes or grab it in your journal in Growth Day, wherever you're watching or tuning in from. Okay, number 1, here's how meaning happens in our life. First, there's an input. There's information. right? Information comes in, something happens. You observe something, you see something, you experience something. There's stimulus, right? There's some kind of stimulus that's going to lead us to ultimately defining a meaning or course of action. But it's really important to understand how much this guides our life, right? You all know it, how important this is from the last couple of years with the media, right? Whatever media you are consuming, that shapes your values. That shapes what you believe is happening in the world, right? You've heard the disinformation tagline because people understood like, wow, information coming in is really important. What's the source? What's the truth? What's the perspective? What's the full story? And many of us, we don't get much information and we jump to conclusions. And that is a great recipe for misery in life. Little bit of information, jump to big conclusions, right? You might even put this. That is a great equation for misery. Misery equals little bit of information, big conclusions. That's misery. That's going to mess your whole life up. That's where people take things extremely seriously when they're not, or they take things extremely personally when they're not. And a lot of misery and suffering comes from that. So we might write down right next to that, garbage in, garbage out. And so, but if we were to take a situation of our life and we're trying to reflect on it, I'll go, the first thing in my journal, I'll say, what information did I have? What information did I have before this incident? What information was I aware of before this incident? What information did I hear, see, or pick up on during the situation? I might go here into my senses, my 5 senses, right? What was I seeing, hearing, feeling, smelling, sensing, etc.? I might say, what information did I have from other people? What had I, in that moment, what did I observe? I'm just trying to kind of catalog the information I had before the event and then during the event. So this is just kind of like collecting information, right? So if I'm coaching you, I'm going to ask a lot of questions about what you knew, saw, or observed, or felt before and during the situation. That's called context, ladies and gentlemen. And the more context we have, we tend to create more specific, finite, and realistic or accurate meanings. Again, little information, big conclusions, misery. But more context often means more completeness in thought. So I want to understand, right? Seek first to understand is what's the information? Okay, next, now we take that information as meaning-making beings. We take all that context and we interpret it. And here's how we interpret it. We take whatever information is there and we say in our mind, relevant, important, good or bad. Relevant, important, good or bad. Make sure you take this note. Relevant, important, good or bad. So sometimes, you know, when you have a lot of information, if you interpret it as not important, man, we might be in some trouble. It might not be relevant. Oh, okay. It's not important. Oh, okay. It's not good or bad. It's good. It's bad. You see how those things immediately shape what's going to happen. Immediately shape what's going to happen, right? If it's not relevant or important. And you'll remember, I mean, major disasters in life can happen. For those who remember the Challenger shuttle explosion, how many scientists and many folks at NASA had been alerted to the O-ring problem in freezing temperatures, and how some people had elevated that as an issue and said, hey, this is a problem. And some leaders said, that's not really relevant to this launch. It's not that important. It's not bad. Launch. And we lost lives. Well, in similar ways, often we wreck our lives by making the wrong equation there. You know, your spouse told you so many times what was important to them, but you're so busy. The only thing that's relevant to you is your own thoughts, feelings, and work. What's relevant to you is your thoughts, feelings, and work. What they're saying is like a frustration or a nonsense. And so, you know, it's even bad when they share it. So you shut them down because you don't think it's relevant and important. When they share it, you interpret it, it's bad. They're inconveniencing you. The interpretation is your spouse is inconveniencing you. Uh-oh. They've given the same information, the same requests over and over and over again, but you thought it wasn't relevant and important, and you thought it was even bad that they were saying anything about it. What happens in that? So you see, these are very, who finds the power in this? Soon as you realize this, and this is at play, this is at play right now. Right now, is this conversation relevant to you? Right now, is it important? Right now, is it good or bad? Would dictate whether you hang out here or not. That's the power. In every moment, as sense and meaning-making beings, we are filtering. Is this relevant to me in my life? Is this important right now? Is this good or bad? And we have to be conscious of it. So what I'll do in a situation where I'm trying to understand, I'm like, how did I break that down? Did I miss something? Did I label something as important or not important? Did I assume it was good or bad, so I shut it down? Like, how am I interpreting all this? And that's really important. And I'll mention this to you as well. One of the defining mindset shifts in your life is recognizing how often you use the languaging of good and bad. How often, too quickly, you say something is bad. Social media, anyone? Who's ever commented on something too quickly and realized your comment was stupid? Like you were like, you got all fired up about something, you got mad at something, you said something was bad, and then you didn't even have the information or context, and you realized, oh my gosh, you got egg on your face because you shouldn't have said, you overreacted, you thought something was bad, and it wasn't even bad. And we often do this with others, right? How we interpret others' actions as bad is one reason we have so much conflict in this world. We're constantly interpreting other people's actions as bad. So we are dividing ourselves. They are bad. Those Republicans, those Democrats, those people in that country, those types of people. And that separatedness constantly creates so much conflict in our life because we assume everyone else is bad and we're so good. And that creates a lot of suffering. So we just have to be aware of how we're interpreting things. Now, I know this is kind of like a masterclass. I'm going deeper. But you all like this so far? I think it's so important for your journaling. And this can be a fast journaling activity, but I think it's important. Okay, so how does it happen? Information comes in, stimulus, context. We interpret it. Relevant, important, good, bad? What's this mean? And then we also almost simultaneously filter it through identity. Meaning, we ask, all right, here's this context, here's the situation. Should I pay attention to it? Is it good or bad? And we also say, what does this mean to me? Yeah, you guys got it, right? What does this mean to me? Is this relevant to me? Is this important to me? Is this good or bad for or against me? Right? And I know a lot of psychologists might not always like that I put interpretation over identity. It's almost like all these things, of course, overlap in real time. So I'm using it as a teaching mechanism here. But it's important to understand we filter it through personality. We filter it through our beingness, through our quote unquote self. And in that identity work, often we actually take information, we take relevancy and importance and good or bad, and now we skew the heck out of it. And we apply our identity. And in that situation, how we apply our identity, how we perceive ourselves in that situation will define the situation. Make sense? Literally, our identity now defines the situation. The situation is just the situation. There's an observable thing in the world. There's form. There's something. We now define the whole thing through our eyes, and we pretend that that's real. This is good and bad. This is where a lot of people take things personally, though. And I'm always asking in my journal, am I taking this personally? Am I taking this too personally? What about my identity and my life experience is skewing how I am seeing this? So those who've studied decision-making theory or cognitive psychology, you know this is where people bring in their biases, their identity, their culture, their norms, their thoughts, their belief patterns. They apply that identity or that bias against the situation. And now, sometimes reality gets so skewed. The situation, but 4 different people seeing it apply their personality to it, right? And all of a sudden, this whole conception happens. And so I'm often asking, am I taking a lot of my journal work and the best journalers I've studied and the people with the best psychology I've studied, they're consistently asking if they're taking things too personally. They're being thoughtful about it. It's one of the 4 agreements, right? The famous book. Don't take things too personally. It's one of the 4. It's so primary. So we filter our identity through it now. What does this mean to me? And what does my story and experience say about the situation? And we put meaning on it. Okay, so all this so far is just thought, isn't it? It's just taking things in, applying filters. So when I'm journaling, I'm like, okay, these are kind of the filters I've got. These are the lenses I've seen this world through. This information happened today. I interpreted it this way. My identity is like this. Now, what happens next for conscious humans is we now put intention on it. We say, okay, based on this information, the way I've interpreted it and who I am, my intention is to respond in this way. So we had stimulus, and now before our response is intention. What do I want to do with this information? Act on it, not act on it. Take this action, don't take this action. It's where we now form our goals. We form our mission, our purpose. We now respond with consciousness to it, right? And often, this is where I love this one as a journaling activity, because when I look at this ladder, I go, oh my God, I just responded to the thing in a gut reaction with no higher order conscious intention. Who's ever responded to somebody in your family and you forgot to set intention first? And you're like, oh my God, did I just say that? And you can't believe you said it? Well, you skip the intention mode. And so often when I'm diagnosing or thinking through a situation of the day, I'll go, did I have any intention there? Was there any intention? You know, psychologists or therapists will often talk about how a lot of people's intentions are really defense mechanisms. Their intention was to protect themselves. Well, you should be aware of that too. A lot of the deep work is realizing, oh, my intention was just self-protection. That's what happened. My response was self-protection. And I'm like, oh, okay, was my intention to connect or to protect? Was my intention to serve this person? Was my intention even clear for myself? Did I know what my goals were? You know, it was my intention. I gave a speech one time, guys, where it was one of the very few speeches in my career I didn't get a standing ovation. And I'm not bragging about that. It's like I trained myself on how to get standing ovations. And it didn't happen. And I was so and I'm talking about the bigger shows, like an arena type show. And so I did in this arena, and it was but it was not like the usual ovation. And I couldn't understand it. So what did I do? I went back and I journaled through this ladder. And when I got to intention, I'm like, I didn't have a clear intention for that specific audience. I had clear goals for the outcome, for the curriculum, for what I was teaching, for my stories, for how I was going to relate with them. But the end game intention was not clear, and I didn't state it. Dang it. No clear intentions often lead to hot messes. That's just real. I was like, I didn't have a clear intention. Okay. So this is why, for many of you, I'm literally, I'll just say, I'm begging you to use Growth Days Journal every morning. Smash that morning mindset button because it's going to help you set some intentions for the day. Because if you don't have intention for the day, you're just in reaction mode all day. It's going to be a hot mess. And so for those who feel like your life is a hot mess or it's not progressing on a steady clip, we just got to get more intention in the day. But of course, I'm focusing here on situations. Okay, last piece you can probably guess, right? You take all of this, because again, this is all thought so far. Now, initiative. You take initiative. You actually do act or not act. And you take a specific course of action. So when I'm journaling, what was the specific course of action I took? Was it helpful or hurtful? So simple. What was the specific action I took? I owned, I was responsible for. What did I do? Was it helpful or hurtful? This is the meaning ladder, or what I often call the interpretation ladder. This is an amazing, amazing way for you all to really, maybe you take a screenshot of this, but when you have this understanding of a situation, and yes, I know you guys are going to ask, it is on part of my roadmap, that I'm going to put this as a journal button itself in Growth Day, so you can just assess the situation and just kind of work through it, just like you can the morning mindset. Because what happens is that when we work through this, we start to see the situation a very different way. As you guys were thinking through your situations, did ideas come up? Yeah, like a different level of awareness comes up when you work the ladder. And so for me, I can share with you in looking at any given situation, whether it's something frustrating at work, or it's a situation with my family, or something with, my industry peers, or something in society that's upsetting me, I'll work through this and it brings in a higher level of consciousness. The lessons are there. The outcomes are more clear. I understand why I felt that way. So often, if you don't know, I promise you, if something has happened to you and you don't understand why you feel that way, you'll figure it out when you work this ladder enough. It will get there. You'll get there. This is so much more powerful to me than just saying why 7 times. I know I love my counterparts in the industry who teach that. However, not super helpful for most people. And so I think it's like more disciplined and more focused way of consciously reflecting on something. And now let me drop the hammer of wow on you. In every situation, if you want to get really good, you fill this out for yourself. And then you go try to fill it out for the other person. You want to get really good, after you've filled out for yourself and you tried to figure out for the other person, go ask the other person and work them through this. You've just changed every relationship in your life forever. Every conflict you ever had in your life changes. Now you understand their perspective. This is their perspective. They just didn't know how to articulate it. This is where their feelings come from. This is where their thoughts and their mindset patterns come from. This is where, I promise, every result in any situation ever came from this. And notice again, I want to make sure I call out, while I'm presenting it to vertically, also these all combine, because what happens after initiative? Right back to information, right? Once you act, you get feedback. It's the feedback loop, isn't it? So this isn't as static as it would look on a page, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to teach. Is that these things all flow and meld together. Sometimes identity perceives something first, even before interpretation. Sometimes your intention was there first and it's muddying the waters, right? Sometimes you're in the motion of action and all these things are happening at the same time in a feedback loop. So while I'm presenting it as a curriculum to explain it, please understand it's like a spider web or an ever-evolving, like morphing thingamabobber. Okay, so I hope that this is helpful for you to think about. You want to become a master of life. Journal on this in the situations you don't understand or you're trying to debrief for yourself. Try to see it through the lens of another. And if you want to go to mastery level in relationships, work through it with another. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait, you did that thing. You don't understand your spouse. She did this thing. How could she have done this? Well, she didn't just take initiative out of nowhere, guys. She probably had intention. Her identity is probably at play. She probably interpreted the situation differently than you did. And guess what? She saw or experienced different things than you did. You just happened to be right there. You didn't see 20 minutes before when she was dealing with that other situation, and that other situation was information she was carrying into the situation with you. I joke a little bit because guys, we tend to be linear and ladies tend to see the bigger picture here. I know that's a broad statement, but trying to earn points. No, I'm just trying to say, okay, it's important for you to understand this is that play for everybody. When you don't understand them, the answer is right here. All right. With that, I'm going to encourage you again, each and every one of you, as a challenge, what I'd love to do is make sure that you start journaling. It's so important. If you missed yesterday, let me capture what I believe is the 5 things that are going to help you grow this year and how to succeed in your growth and your transformation. Now that you know this, you're going to journal on it. But I also want to share this. I shared this yesterday, that ultimately there's 5 actions that I believe help people. Today, we talked about mastering self-reflection, self-awareness. And the action is you got to journal. You just got to start capturing your thoughts and your feelings, and you got to debrief and